This down. Okay. Like that. Okay, it's gonna work, right? Should I post it? Tag. Yeah. So that's actually the live illustration. See how many Steve Nordic. Yeah, we'll see. Yeah. Upload all the steam, and people do each have also first. Perfect position.
Can you stay logged in? So I can vote while
Okay, so let's say that. I already built it. Oh, you did?
yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Nej, här, oj, nej, det var inte sorry. Det var på hans stol.
Okay, welcome everyone. Really happy to see so many people here. It's overwhelming. This is a crypto finance event, which means it's not your traditional finance or fintech event. We are based in the cryptocurrency space, which is a little bit underground up until now, but it's really growing fast and as evidenced by the people gathered here today. It's overwhelming, and I'm very grateful that you took the time to be here today. My name is Manuel Lyons. I'm the CEO of BitSpace, which is a startup in the cryptocurrency blockchain space. We are based in Oslo, Norway. We actually started up, BitSpace was founded 8 months ago, so we're quite new, but already we're a group of 15 people really dedicated to promoting cryptocurrency technology, blockchain technology, and we have a lot of great partners, great projects going on. We're so fortunate to meet with Oslo FinTech, Sean Tanki, in spring, and he's our partner for this whole event. We actually did a hackathon this weekend, from Friday to Sunday. So this is actually the last event in a series of 3 events. There was a hackathon in the weekend where we gathered international community of blockchain experts, blockchain hackers from the open cryptocurrency community. They came here, some of them sponsored by a blockchain platform that you will hear more about tonight. And they are also going to get a chance to present what they came up with during this weekend. Earlier today, we had a workshop where people could learn about Bitcoin, how to get the wallet, how to make their first transactions. They could learn a little bit about a social media blockchain that you're going to talk about. I'm not going to break that yet. I'll leave that for our next speaker. So we are here today. This actually marks the end of the CryptoFinance Summit, which is the CryptoFinance Hackathon, the workshop, and this is CryptoFinance Live. Speaking of live, We're actually live now, live stream on YouTube. It's a little lagged, as you can see. I'm just gonna show, okay, I'll leave that for you now to show where we posted it. So without further ado, I think I'm going to just introduce our keynote speaker. He traveled here all the way from the US. He is pioneer within the blockchain space. The absolute bleeding edge technology of blockchain. A new social media website called Steemit, based on a new blockchain called Steem. It's one of the most advanced blockchains out there. And he's come all the way here to talk to us about that. And I'm very grateful to have you as our guest, Ned. Please come up on stage. He will be talking to us about future cryptocurrencies and social media. Give a hand for next guest.
Hey everyone, I couldn't be happier to be here in Oslo, Norway. This is my first time to this part of the world, and I have to say it's absolutely stunning. The yellow and the green trees, it's gorgeous. Big thanks to Manuel and his brother Christian for putting together this amazing event. The hackathon has been super productive. We've got hackers and programmers from all over Europe that have come to do some great work together. So thanks to everybody who's been a part of this. As Manuel mentioned, I am in the blockchain space and the social media space, and that incorporates a lot of things: finance, and content, all sorts of things. So as the CEO of Steemit.com, we're really thinking about cryptocurrencies and the future of finance. And I really like the words that Manuel has been using, crypto finance. I think it's a really great description of a lot of the tech to come over the next few years. So in my presentation, I want to just go over generally, some of the ideas that we approached as we came up with the model for Steemit.com, and some of the problems that we were looking at. Oops. So cryptocurrency, social networks, and the attention economy. It's all, a bunch of jargon, a bunch of new words. What does it all really mean? Well, to me, it kind of starts at a couple things. We look at a lot of the institutions and the industries around us. You look at banks, you look at schools, and these are institutions that have a specific purpose in our lives. And more recently, maybe in the last decade and a half, there's been this new institution, social media and the internet. And with that, there's been changes in the way that we interact with each other, and speak with each other, and message people, and keep connections around the world. It's been a very, very interesting time for all of us. It's disrupted business after business along the way, in the media industry, and just in the way people do business day to day. But there's one business that has, despite all of the digitalization of commerce, has continued to operate much the same as it has for a very, very long time, and that is banking. I imagine we brought in a few financial experts to this event, and I see some nodding heads out there. I'm sure you guys can agree somewhat that although we have mobile banking now, and you can use PayPal and send money across the world, there's still a stagnancy, a slowness to the way things work, and banks are very big operations. So I got into Bitcoin in 2013. I had just gotten out of school. I had studied psychology and economics, and Bitcoin just really felt right to me. And I approached her and I said, you know, will you be my girlfriend? And I literally spent every night with Bitcoin ever since. And my business partner, much the same happened to him, but in 2009, and he was actually one of the original guys. This is Daniel Larimer. He was one of the original guys to find Bitcoin, and he was at the time looking for his own digital currency solution. He was thinking, how can we empower people across the world? And he realized that the way to do that is by taking currency and creating it in a way where it has no owner, where it's a completely autonomous vehicle. And by chance, typing digital currency into Google, he found Bitcoin. And he ended up on the forum with all the other, well, I should say the other very few early adopters. And he ended up speaking with this guy, Satoshi Nakamoto. Some of you may know him as the creator, the anonymous creator of Bitcoin. So Dan and Satoshi had some back and forth, discussed a few things, and Dan was, very much dedicated to the development of currency. But in 2013, he had another project building exchange software into what's known as blockchain technology. This is technology that empowers digital currency like Bitcoin in a way where transactions and data become perfectly immutable. And that's tremendous, because what it means is now, for transactions to happen, you don't need to trust anyone. So Dan was responding to one of the key weaknesses in the Bitcoin space, and that's the exchange business. In Bitcoin, I don't know if you've ever heard, maybe, a Bitcoin exchange is hacked and $100 million disappears. Dan responded to that problem by building an exchange directly into the blockchain. That project was called BitShares, a tremendous piece of work. And I approached him about halfway through last year. I said, there's tremendous technology here, but let's find the play, the application that everybody can use. And after some discussions about maybe doing an insurance business or mutual aid business, we realized that to really empower a community, you needed a forum on the blockchain. So we developed essentially a social network on the blockchain where all communication is immutable and where people can transfer value to one another seamlessly, frictionlessly, and be rewarded for their participation in the network. So as we were coming up with that, we started to look at, how important it could be, and we started looking at the other models that exist today. And if we look at Facebook, if we look at Twitter and Instagram and Reddit, these are companies that operate on private databases. And as we spend our hours per day on our computers looking at these sites, we are paying them with our attention and our time and our creativity and our energy. And they're taking that and leveraging it on top of our private data to create profits for their shareholders. So maybe there's a couple hundred of us in this room today. Think about all the value that collectively we're giving these companies. So we thought blockchain might allow some of that value to come back to the users, to a group of people like us. We looked at Facebook and we noticed that it's also very strictly social. There's not a lot of value transfer there. In the last several years, Facebook has tried to institute payment methods and Facebook Pay and things like that, but it's been very, very difficult to pull off in a way that's meaningful to their users. And a lot of the reasons for that are current regulations and also the weaknesses of some of the payment structures out there on the internet that have come prior to blockchain. There's also a very low degree of transparency. Facebook keeps very much a walled garden of data. They have a wealth of information about who we are, what we like, what we do, and they only like to let certain types of individuals into their walled garden. You know, maybe advertise, which they say, well, here's a demographic of people that you can advertise to. And so we don't really know what they're doing with that data. Are they spying on us? Are they manipulating the data? Who knows? Blockchain represented an opportunity to change that, where you could, instead of having this private enclosed model, you could have public data. You could have a utility for all the people using that data and all the entrepreneurs and developers who wanted to access that wealth of data. And then we started to look at banking. We said, okay, well, if we're going to have a social media site merged with financial site, a personal finance site, what are we up against? Well, we're not up against any hybrids, really, but if we think about banking as a competitor, banks really have no element of social. It's, you know, retail banking, you put your money into this institution, you can take it out, you can transfer it, transfers and wires take a certain number of days, there's fees, customer service is sometimes good, sometimes terrible. And in the news, we read about some of the events that have occurred. Some of them are regarding fraud and some other things that don't seem to be in our best interests. For instance, Wells Fargo in the United States recently was caught creating accounts for their customers unbeknownst to them. And they were then racking up fee after fee with these fraudulent transactions and then charging it to the user's other accounts without notifying them of really the bill. They were fined $190 million for that. No one was fired. Some people were fired. But, you know, ultimately, there was very little transparency. There was fraud. It's just a big mess. So we're up against this institution of closed information. And so it brings us to a unique moment in time. We now have Bitcoin, we have other cryptocurrencies, we have these public databases, and we have millions and billions of people online looking at computers for hours and hours a day, spending their time also inputting their creativity and creating content. There's huge, huge amounts of value on the internet being funneled into these websites like Facebook and Twitter. And they're acting as middlemen. As we look into our screens, advertisers are coming to the platform and saying, okay, how can we monetize all this attention? So to really flip the model, I would suggest that there be a platform that finds the synergy between social networking and finance, that has complete transparency, where the websites themselves run as nonprofits, and any advertising revenue that comes in to monetize our attention then goes and is distributed to the bloggers and the users of the website, and perhaps even the holders of the cryptocurrency that underlies the network. So that was the model we were ready to approach. A very open version of social networking, completely integrated with finance. But we knew there would be challenges. Creating any business, especially an internet business, requires mass. There needs to be a network effect. And we've seen this very strongly with some other businesses. Usually it's the first to market that develops the strongest network effect. Although that's not always true. I think maybe you guys remember MySpace was the predecessor to Facebook and eventually supplanted completely. There were also going to be technical challenges. not only did we need a lot of people, we were going to need to serve them in a way where their experience is seamless. Now, if you look at Bitcoin, Bitcoin is known as this first internet, this magical internet currency, but it actually takes, some of you might be surprised to know, it takes at least 10 minutes for any Bitcoin transaction to go through. And more often than not, transactions can take 40 minutes and even up to a day and a half. This is a network that has been plagued with speed and scalability issues. That's not to say that there aren't a lot of people, really smart people working on that. I do believe that those problems are being resolved. But we knew that if we were going to have a social network, which could have an order or several orders of magnitude more transactions and more demand, we were going to need some excellent technology. So thanks to a lot of the work that had been done in the previous few years on BitShares and some of the other open source projects in the space, we concocted an architecture that would allow us to create a blockchain database that supports all the content and all the transactions with tremendous scalability. We've tested into the tens of thousands of transactions per second by using a single threaded blockchain database known as Graphene. And the speed that this database runs at is industry leading with 3-second block times. So with all this in hand, we felt we had a pretty good shot to do social networking on a blockchain if anyone was going to do it. And we created Steemit. Steemit runs on this blockchain called Steem. The way we came up with this name, in English, you have the word esteem, like you have an esteemed author. The way Steem would work is it would be a cryptocurrency, much like Bitcoin, but it would also have a budget that is allocated to the authors who are posting on the social network. So every day, there's a set and specific amount of Steem created and is allocated to the bloggers and the curators or voters of content on this network. So this was all an idea back in January. We turned it into a blockchain by the end of March of this year. And by July, we moved out of alpha and into a beta period where these payouts actually started happening. And in July, $1.2 million US dollars worth of Steem was distributed to the posters and the voters. And it was a really miraculous moment. Some of the people in this room were participating on the network at that time. It was really exciting to see, people pay their rent, pay down debt, buy their mother a washing machine. And as people started to realize that this network was working for them, confidence in the industry grew, and the cryptocurrency itself started to gain a lot in value. And as the value increased, more people came to the website and took interest. And since then, we've seen a very steady sign-up rate. We've had more than 100,000 accounts created on Steem. So we're really working towards that network effect, trying to be the first to penetrate this new market, this combined version of personal finance and social networking, where the value isn't siphoned out to the platform itself, but is distributed back to the user base. Along with the website that we built, steemit.com, and we built it on top of the Steem database. So there's kind of two layers. You have web applications, and you have the database behind it. There's Steemit as the first web application, and there are more than 95 other applications built on this database. And this hackathon that was going on the past few days was focused on building these new and compelling applications. Because now there's not just a network effect to create on steemit.com itself, but for the platform, for the database. Because we all share in the benefit of others gravitating towards Steem and using this cryptocurrency Steem. So just briefly, I have a link here to the website. I'll just quickly scroll through some things.
I have the site up there on that Chrome browser. If you want to show
Sure,
me that.
sure, let's just do that. Cool. So this is steemit.com. It's sort of the first iteration of this social network. You have posts. Several of these are describing the hackathon in the last few days. The top one is the live stream that's going on right now. But on the main page, there's quite the collection of different types of content. This is an all-encompassing site. We're trying to build something that appeals to everyone. This isn't like other. I guess this is the first sort of cryptocurrency project to appeal to all types of people. Prior to steemit.com coming out, I believe the best female to male ratio on any given project was about 10 to 90. And with Steemit, and we have the Google Analytics to prove this, it's about 50-50. We have the first cryptocurrency project to actually attract an even distribution of men and women, which is pretty cool. And so, yeah, this may just look like a regular social media site, but I want to point out below all these posts, you have these dollar signs, right? So you have essentially denominations of Steem tokens in US dollars here, and these authors are being paid directly by the network, essentially by a jury of their peers who control this budget of Steem. And at the end of the day, they're rewarded. So at the top, there's a $99 reward. Below that, $34. So it's real, and I can show you. We can go to, for instance, this person, Eric Vance Walton's wallet. So they have their page. Anyone who's been to Twitter knows, you kind of have your feed, and you can access your comments and replies, and you can retweet. Well, here you can re-Steem. But there's a new button here you haven't seen on any other social media site. It's the wallet. And the wallet is like your bank account. But the difference between this bank account and any other bank account is no one controls this but you. There's no banker behind it. There's no institution behind it. There's just the blockchain. And no one's running the blockchain, at least not a single entity. There's hundreds of people running nodes around the world to keep the blockchain operational and decentralized and secure. So there's no one to close down your account. It's completely in your control. You get to manage your Steem. There's a few other financial mechanisms in here. There's Steem, which is like Bitcoin. There's Steem Power. Anyone who's ever run a startup is familiar with sort of vesting equity. Steem Power is like vesting cryptocurrency. It gives people a long-term incentive to participate in the network and gives them influence over content. The more Steem Power they have, the more they get to sort of upvote posts and that sort of thing. And then there are Steem dollars. One of the economic challenges of Bitcoin has always been volatility. And although Bitcoin has been very successful as a speculative instrument, its efforts to integrate with merchants have also been successful. But the issue is that merchants are accepting Bitcoin and then cashing out immediately to some other asset that they find to be more stable, more holdable. The Steem dollar is essentially like Bitcoin or Steem, but pegged to the US dollar. And that makes it easier to hold on to. It makes it easier to feel comfortable receiving from these posts and then not taking it right to a market and selling. So there's quite a few kind of things to learn here, of course, and some interesting financial mechanisms. But at the end of the day, it's a pretty easy concept. It's just social media, where as you participate, you're earning for your participation. You're no longer just giving away your value for free. And what I'd like to close with is the idea that these blockchains are creating systems where, as a group of people, we begin to work together more, and just like we see with communities of ants who work together to build bridges across obstacles. We are doing the same thing on Steam as we bring value for each other and build this network together. Thank you very much. Oh, I guess I should do a Q&A.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah, sure.
I guess there might be some questions in the audience. We still have some time. Do you want to just point at
Sure.
you'll take control of this?
Here's one.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, so you have your own currency for this system, and then obviously you have Bitcoin, you have Ethereum, and I assume you would argue that, so it's better that, yeah, you just touched upon it, but that it's better to have like your own currency for your system. But in more general terms, how would you argue, or like how do you look at like having one general currency for all purposes versus having specific currencies for specific systems?
Sure.
For instance, addressing yours network, which is going to use Bitcoin.
Sure. So the question is, you created this system with its own currency. So what was the motivation behind it? When we began, we looked at Bitcoin, we looked at Ethereum, and we said, can we do this on these platforms? Because if you can leverage existing technology, save yourself the time. You don't need to say it's not built here, so I won't use it. I have always been a Bitcoiner. I've always been interested in the Bitcoin 2.0 projects. We were facing a number of challenges in doing this. Some of them were technical. If you think about the user experience that's demanded for Facebook and Twitter and all these real-world applications, they need to react in real time. So every action that you take regarding content here is a transaction. And if you're upvoting and you have to wait 10 minutes, or in Ethereum's case, 10 seconds, that's quite a lag. And the risk of having your actions not enter into the blocks, which are recording these transactions, was too great. So from a technical perspective, we needed a blockchain that could actually handle these user actions. Beyond that, we realized that the content itself has to sit in the blockchain, has to be immutably and inextricably linked to the accounts, so that there can be auditability of the budget of Steam that is distributed to all the different users. So ultimately what we came to is an application-specific blockchain. Bitcoin's another example of that. It's very specific in what it does. It does transfer of value. Ethereum is this very general purpose blockchain, and there have been some initiatives to, perhaps approach problems like these as well. But we were able to get to market much faster by focusing on this specific problem and building a specific solution. Yours network is also a great project. It will be using Bitcoin, but it will be missing some of the economic aspects and the immutable content aspects of this system. They'll be running on a centralized database, much like Reddit or Twitter, or at least that's to my knowledge. I can't say that I'm completely up to date on the project. And on the economic side, they're beholden to all the economics of Bitcoin. And there are new economics here that reward people specifically for posting and voting. They don't need to buy anything, they just need to show up and do what they were already doing on Twitter and Facebook or whatever. So, yeah, in a nutshell, it's economic and technological problems that caused us to build this application-specific blockchain. Rebecca.
You said that your currency is pegged to the US dollar.
A portion of it is.
By doing so, aren't you putting too much trust into fiat currency?
That's a great question. So the smart contract mechanism that creates the Steam dollar, and the Steam dollar is just one sort of financial mechanism on this chain. the mechanism that creates it is a decentralized sort of price feed mechanism. There's no hard pegging the way countries, peg to another country's currency. It's all done through price feeds and market pegging, which is a somewhat new concept and sort of come about with the advent of crypto. But we pegged it to the U.S. dollar. So why did we do that? The U.S. dollar is quite a well-known medium of exchange. If you go to Argentina, to the black markets, there can be a 10% premium on dollars. So we essentially look for the asset that would help this application become mainstream, that would help reduce the volatility from. Could there be issues with the dollar in the future? Some would argue yes, but for now, it represents one of the most understandable and palatable assets that we could have pegged to.
If it will be conflict situation, what kind of juridical security will stay behind this system?
So how is the
Yeah,
system?
how you will decide this conflict situation? It can be if somebody pay and not satisfied, what you will do? What kind of what kind of juridical system will stay behind?
What kind of security backs
Yeah.
the system? Okay, so this comes down to the nature of blockchain. Blockchain came about because there had been no prior systems that allowed sort of transfer of value across the internet without the problem known as the double spend problem, which meant that someone sending money to someone else could then send that same money to another party, and both parties would think they received the money, although in the end one of them won't receive it. So blockchain solved that problem by guaranteeing that value could only be sent once. I'm not sure if you had another part of your question there.
It's
But-
exactly this you start answer, but it's very difficult to understand. If somebody would like to buy something,
Mm-hmm.
and first, when сказала детали, it's procedure question, how to it will go. It's not so easy. It's
Yeah,
it's very easy.
It's a complex subject matter, the way these databases work. That's why I sort of went through it quickly, but when I presented cryptocurrency and blockchain, I referred to it as magical internet money, because it's such a complex topic that to really understand it takes quite a bit of study. So I would recommend to anyone who really wants to understand cryptocurrency or blockchain to go out there to Google and type in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency and spend some time really learning it. Otherwise, it's a system that you'll just need to trust.
Okay, so that's going to be the last question.
Okay, so last question here. You got it.
It's growing as a social network. And as it's growing, I guess you'll learn something about social behavior and you might want to change how it works. Can you do that? And how do you do that in a distributed network?
There are challenges in doing that. Yes, it's sort of a running experiment, and there are some parts of the experiment that are very difficult to change, especially when you're talking about property that people own, right? So we really refrain from changing anything to do with emission rates of steam or anything to do with the financial aspects of it, because we really can't. The way that the changes come about is all the steam holders are voters in the network. And if, let's say, everyone were to agree that a change needed to be made, someone would write some new software that's very much like the old software, the old blockchain, but with the necessary improvements inside. They would put it out there in the open, and then you have these block producers, these witnesses or miners, who see the new software and they choose to opt in to the new software. And if they all do that, then the entire group of Steam holders moves to this new improved network. So yeah, it's a bit complicated, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
So
great.
thank you very much, Ned. It's a great, inspiring. And getting back to the questions around the regulation and law, we will definitely hear more about that today. We're going to have a panel debate. I think it will be 7:45. We'll make it a little bit earlier. Isn't that right, Charlotte? We'll try to do that. So then we'll have a chance to get more into the regulatory aspect of blockchain and CryptoFinance. Also, I forgot to mention before, I have to thank FinTech Factory to allow us to use this venue for free. I also forgot to go through the program today. As you see, we have gone through the keynote by Ned Scott, and we're going to make a little demonstration here of blockchain technology, a little bit about Steam, a little bit about BitShares. And then Martin Hauge will have a fireside chat with Ned Scott. And then we'll have a networking break, and we'll start off with a panel with 7 esteemed speakers or contributors. So I think we'll just get right into that now. We're going to have a little demonstration. Christian, are you here? Yeah, get up here. That's Christian. I have to give a hand to Christian. We co-founded BitSpace, and I'm the talker, he's the thinker. So it's a master of philosophy, actually. So he's the brains behind the whole operation. And I guess we're going to show. Oh, that's
Water.
no harm done. Yeah, it was water, so. I guess. Are we going to show the BitShares demo? Okay, so. We actually made a demonstration to a crowd from the Oslo Stock Exchange together with Lasse Meholm on Thursday, where we demonstrated how you can use blockchain technology to perform a trade, stock market trade. So what we did is we created a token on the BitShares network. Ned Scott briefly mentioned BitShares, which was the previous product of the developers behind Steam. So that is a decentralized exchange, and anybody can create their own assets on this exchange. Tokens, basically like printing money, but of course there is no value behind this money unless someone guarantees the value of this money. So in this blockchain you can generate, for example, Norwegian kroner, and you can generate a Statoil share that we did on that presentation, and someone has to guarantee that it actually represents what it says to represent. So in this case, we're just dealing with toy money. There's no value here. We just make two different stocks. So Statoil shares and Norwegian kroner. So I guess we'll just, we made 2 demo accounts. So we're gonna make a simple trade here. This account had 15 Statoil shares, and we are going to sell 5 of them for 130 Norwegian kroner. So we put 5 here. And this is actually happening on the blockchain. When I push the button now, the sell order will post directly to the blockchain. confirm it, and that's it. Well, that's it. There's a 3-second block time here. So compared to Bitcoin, which has a 10-minute block time. It takes 10 minutes to verify transactions in Bitcoin. Here it takes 3 seconds. On average, 1.5 seconds actually. So here you can see in the blockchain explorer, can you see this or is it small? Okay, that was too much. So here it says that Bitspace Demo 1 wants 650 kroner for 5 Statoil shares. So here we have a second account. We can go into the same exchange, the same pair, trade pair, and we see that here's a sell order of 5 Statoil shares for 130 kroner each. We click it, we press buy, and we have to put a password because it has to be done every 10 minutes. It goes out. And confirm. And that action is also visible on the blockchain. Here it says that a buy order was put and it was automatically matched by the blockchain. And these shares and this money has now changed hands. So it's a very simple procedure. Basically 2 transactions on the blockchain, and that's it. So now we see that let's see here. Okay, the demo 1 account had 15 shares and less money. Now it has more money and only 10 shares left.
Yeah, so what's really interesting about this is that this is like a global network that is completely open and decentralized. So nobody owns this network, and it's distributed all over the world. So if you use your imagination a little bit, you will see that within a very short time frame, we will have a global web of value that will allow transfers from anyone in the world to anyone else completely without transaction costs. And you can transfer any kind of value in this way. It could be property, it could be gold, it could be dollars as the Steam dollars, it could be Bitcoin, it could be anything. And this kind of value transfer is programmable money, programmable value. So this is a really powerful concept, and I think within a few years we'll see this value web serve as the infrastructure for value, much like the internet serves as the infrastructure for information today.
Yeah, and I guess we should also show you guys the post that we made. We made this post just before we started this event. We posted the live stream on the Steemit platform, and already it is gathering votes. Live stream. This is day 4 of the CryptoFinance Summit. CryptoFinance Live, and already we have gathered $47 on this post during the first hour of the event. And that's going to stay up there for 24 hours and gather votes. 115 people voted for us so far, and that's real money. As Ned said, you can let's say that in Norway today we have a big problem with journalists losing their jobs. The media business has a big problem. The old ways of monetizing on content don't really work anymore. People expect free content. People don't want to go. If you meet the paywall, somebody links an article on Facebook and you try to click on it, and there's a paywall. There's a very big chance that you're not gonna open it. You're not gonna go through that trouble. So we need new ways to monetize on content, and this represents a fundamental change. It represents huge opportunity to activate people who have something to say, but they can't earn money on it. They can't make a living on it based on the existing structures. We have multiple activities in BitSpace. One of them is a fundamental gateway that we want to make it easy to go back and forth between traditional fiat currencies and cryptocurrencies. We also have a lot of other activities that we want to do, and one of them is make a new system for Norwegian journalists to be able to make a living. Of course, not only Norwegian journalists, but it's a good opportunity for us to start here because it's a big problem in Norway. We've written a lot about it in the newspaper, and we believe that Steam might be a really good platform to launch an initiative like that. But for that to really work, we need to get our gateway up first, because our gateway is going to be an underlying piece in everything we do. If you're going to earn money on writing blog posts, if you're going to earn money on writing articles on this platform, as a Norwegian, you have an app and you get your Steam dollars. So what are you going to do with them? How are you going to transfer them into your bank account to use them when you go and buy groceries? If you have Bitgate, which we'll present a little bit later, that's going to be a matter of clicking a button, and swoosh, it's going to be in your bank account in Norwegian kroner, ready to use at the shop. I think that that's basically what we wanted to get through. Unless maybe there are some questions. Let's take some questions. Please.
It's a little bit difficult to understand. If it will be a bank, if it's who will be own bank where we send money. No, it's you understand.
Who owns the bank?
Yeah, how it will be money go transfer from normal bank contract to
into the cryptocurrency. Yeah. That's a challenge, and that's what we're working on with Bitgate. The underlying technology is basically ready to go. It's very easy to implement. Our big challenge is working with regulators, working with lawyers, working with accountants and our bank partners to make this happen. It's not easy. If I could tell you like in one sentence, we would already have it up and running.
And how it will be with taxes?
Sorry?
If it will be buy or sell, how it will be taxes? It will have to be taxes also.
Yeah, so that's it's the same as dealing with cash. When you deal with cash, then you need to report your profits. So if you have a lot of profits in a company, if you make profits, you have to report it and you have to pay tax on what you do. And when it comes to blockchain technology, I mean, we're going to have a whole debate on this later. Again, the law aspect of this, the regulation aspect. But in terms of policing money, blockchain is kind of a gift to law enforcement because it's absolutely trackable. Everything you do on the blockchain exists in the blockchain forever. If the police is looking into your company, they think that maybe you're hiding something. It's a piece of cake for them. If you use Bitcoin, it's absolutely easy for them to just go through and see everything you've done and take you and put you behind bars. That's how they caught the guy who was running this big drug marketplace a couple of years ago. Maybe some of you read about it in the news. Once they could couple him with the blockchain address, with a person, it was game over. He couldn't hide. They knew everything about these transactions. So compared to cash, it's an upgrade. It's easier for law enforcement.
And it's going some contract with government for different country and this system. How it's going official relationship? How it's going? You understand? It's have to be contract with bank, government, and.
Yeah, the thing is that the blockchain technology, Bitcoin doesn't ask permission from everyone, from anyone. Bitcoin exists on the blockchain. Bitcoin exists on the internet. So Bitcoin itself doesn't need Norway. Bitcoin doesn't need Norway. There are 2 billion people in the world who don't even have identification. Norway, this is coming, folks. This is coming, whether we like it or not. We have one of the best financial systems in the world in Norway. So it's very easy for us to say that, well, we don't need Bitcoin, we don't need blockchain, we have everything we need, we can use bits, which by the way loses millions every day. I guess some of you know that. So it's not a matter of if Bitcoin can get permission from Norway to go on with its business. It's a matter of what are we going to do in Norway to make sure that we don't fall behind. And that's too late. Norway is already falling far behind. Norway is the only country in the world where you still have to pay sales tax when you buy Bitcoin. Only country in the world where that is still.
VAT?
VAT, yes. So yeah, we'll have a whole debate on that in a while. Other questions? Yeah.
You have shown that there were like $45 or whatever this post has created, but there was no advertisement or something.
No, we didn't advertise this post at all. We just posted, put it out there, completely free, and people just started voting for it. And when people start voting, then the post becomes more visible, just like Reddit. Maybe some of you tried Reddit. It's the same principle. Posts that get a lot of votes, they go to the top and are easily visible, and then you will, of course, compound that effect, and you will get more and more votes. So I think that the record for posts in Steemit is something like $40,000, which was a really, really popular post. Yeah, I'm not gonna. Should I elaborate on that? Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Okay. Yep.
I guess you need to expand a bit more on how does this visibility transform into money? Because I think that was a question that he asked. Because I understand when Facebook has has the advertisement and that's money and that doesn't get distributed fairly to the content owners. But how does the visibility transform into money?
How it is distributed to the author, or how it transforms into traditional currencies?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's you just have to use a cryptocurrency exchange to change this into. No, am I missing the point?
You said that the value has been created.
Yeah.
Right? But this dollars amount, it came from somewhere. Like somebody will pay this amount.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's
where actually money came from. So where this is coming
yeah.
from?
It's the thing is actually Christian made a whole Steemit post about that exact question. Where does the money in Steemit come from? Maybe you want to take the floor on that.
I guess the safest thing to say is that we all know that Bitcoin works. Bitcoin has been operational for 8 years, and the way Bitcoin pays the people who sustain the Bitcoin network is by issuing new Bitcoins every 10 minutes. And this has been working for 8 years to pay the people who sustain the network. And the Steemit model is basically the same model. You use new Steemit to pay the people who post content on the platform. And the content makes the platform more valuable. So you can also view it like a stock. A new company issues new shares to pay for services for the company. that's two metaphors you can use to understand where the
Okay,
value comes from.
I'm sorry. We have to go to the next program now. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. So next is the fireside chat with Martin Hauge. Let's go. Please join us for the chat.
You ask, can I ask you once more? It's different languages for yeah.
You could post in any language you want. Ja, alltså.
But it's different from money
That's okay. Oh, that's no problem. No problem. I know how to use
Okay, guys. Ned, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Very interesting keynote you gave us. And congratulations to your company.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Maybe you could start by giving us a little bit more background. Why and who are you and who are we? Because you talked about we when you talked about Steemit.
Sure. So for me, growing up, I was always trying to answer the question, why? And I was an okay student, but I always wanted to know why I was in school and why I was learning particular topics. And, that made me very curious. And I was also a bit mischievous, I guess you could say. And, from time to time, not overly mischievous. But there was one moment, I think it was 6th grade, where laser pointers became all the rage. Where you get the red laser and irritate your friends and that sort of thing. And I wanted to purchase some, but I needed to purchase them without, my parents finding out and all that sort of thing. I just realized that I had no way to do that. I couldn't go to a store. I was underage. I couldn't go and buy them with cash, at least not in the United States. And getting them online, I didn't have a credit card, or if I used my parents, they would find out about it. And it was that moment that I realized that there's this entire sort of financial system running somewhere, and somehow it's running, and I didn't know how. And I wanted to know how, but I didn't quite figure it out until I'd gone through my studies. I went to school. I was always an athlete too, and I was, a swimmer, and always learned to, that to get the best, you have to put in the best work. And I've always been motivated to perfection in a lot of ways. Swimming taught me that. But I got out of school, and as I mentioned earlier, I found Bitcoin. And Bitcoin is this technology that's open in such a way where anyone can go to it, study it, and there's a community that is formed around it, which allows you to go and meet other people and discuss this great innovation. And that was just so tantalizing. And I got to go and meet such incredibly smart people who had dedicated already, years to learning this technology. And that was just such an exciting journey. And just led me to want to create things that make the world a better place. And I was lucky to find some really great people to do that with. And that is why I use the word we. I have an incredible team and an incredible co-founder, Dan Larimer, and there's an incredible community of people that have now, just like in Bitcoin, that had formed around Bitcoin to build Bitcoin services. There's this great community of Steemians and Steamers. Hello to every Steamer out there. And that's why I say we, because it's a movement of many, many individuals around the world.
So did you use Bitcoin for buying your laser pointer?
I've still got to go back and make that particular purchase happen. Yeah.
So tell me, since I'm a venture capitalist, do you make money?
Ooh, do we make money? Well, there's a lot of money.
And how do you make money? What's your business model?
Great question. So we started out as a for-profit corporation. The way these systems come into existence, just like Satoshi created Bitcoin, and then it all gets mined into existence, which is this process of producing blocks and doing work and competing against the public. This technology was created, Steam, and then we mined it into existence alongside the public. And so we own a significant portion of Steam, which has capitalized our company quite a bit. But as we have developed this technology, it's become increasingly clear that we need to break ground and really flip the model of traditional social networking and finance. And the model today is a closed source private company model where the incentives between the user base and oftentimes the platform are misaligned. And the platforms want to take advantage of the user base. So we're going to flip the model and be a nonprofit. And the advantage there is that you don't have to invest in the company Steam It Inc., the website, any longer. You can invest in the Steam tokens, just like people have gone out and invested in Bitcoin. Now, the foundation and the mission that we're creating is one that will allow us to tap into what we're calling the attention economy. We talked about all the value that people are funneling into these websites just by looking at them and reading content and posting content. The model in the future is one where advertisers, instead of giving all their money to the platform, the money actually comes in to purchase Steam. So now they have Steam, and now they can only get our attention if they spend Steam. And the Steam gets burned or retired in the network. So there's this cool model now where demand for Steam increases and all the holders of Steam benefit from that. So that's kind of the model. It's a bit different.
You have this expression, I believe, that's called steam power.
Yes.
Does that mean that you can get some sort of censorship by having people with steam power voting down or voting up things, or
So
will you be the new Zuckerberg who will censor everything that's on the internet?
censorship has been one of the things that in creating this we have strived to get over. It's become increasingly clear it's a problem around the world. So the mechanism that's being brought up is this idea of steam power. It's this influence over the network, and the more you have of it, essentially the more steam you have, the more influence you have over how content gets rewarded. So today, there are some people who have more influence than others, and the way the website works, there can be moderation based on the amount of steam power. But really, you can never censor anyone from the blockchain. So as we build these websites, there's Steemit, and they actually have some competitors. There's another called Busy.com, there's one called SteamQ that we'll see later today. And these interfaces are businesses, and they have the job of curating the content. But the thing that none of them can do is erase content from the database. So if any particular website starts to censor content, the user base can always go directly to the blockchain and can say, look, this website, Steemit or SteamQ, is censoring my posts. And then the entire community can rally around and say, well, why are you doing that? So it's not good for the application to censor because they'll be caught red-handed and they'll disturb everyone who's participating.
So what you're saying is that censorship can happen, but it will be corrected by the community. Is that right?
It can happen. The systems are censorship resistant, and there can be no true censorship. It can really only be moderation or site-wide curation. But true censorship really can't happen. It's more how we see it.
You told us that you have 100,000 accounts today. You know who are the owners of these accounts? Where are they? Who are they? What kind of people are attracted to you?
Right. So
what do you know about your customers?
This is So this is a question of how accounts can be created, and there's a few ways. People can create accounts without any middleman involved at all. They can simply create their own accounts by paying a small fee to the network, or they can use a faucet, and Steemit.com runs a faucet to create these accounts, and we do some authentication when we do that because there is a cost to creating accounts. We don't want one given person to sign up 1,000 accounts because we know they'll just use one. So this is the Sybil attack problem. And we created Steam Power actually to solve this Sybil attack problem. It's very difficult to give one account one vote because if each account has equal weight in voting and voting over the budget, then someone can attack the system by creating so many accounts that their vote matters more than everyone else. So yeah, we have some information there, but the system can operate without that sort of information as well.
Can you also say something about these applications that are using, that you have today, that are using your technology? You mentioned it was more than 95, I think 100?
Yeah, so since the platform began getting popularity in July, entrepreneur after entrepreneur and developer after developer have showed up to take advantage of this rich and open data. And one entrepreneur built a website called steamtools.com, and it showcases all these 95 websites that are full of sites dedicated to statistics and mobile applications and analysis tools and all sorts of things. And some of these applications are direct competitors to Steemit. So Steemit is kind of this desktop application today. There are others of those popping up, and that's a good thing. Competition spurs innovation, and everyone shares in the growth of the Steam network. So it's healthy competition that we see.
This sounds very interesting. I think it's a big market, but you probably have a lot of competitors, don't you?
Yeah.
Why are there no competitors?
Well, none quite doing what we're doing. But I think a lot of people, it's like Bitcoin. When Bitcoin came out, there were a number of very intelligent people, my co-founder included, who were thinking about the same problem. They were saying, how can we do value transfer over the internet? And there were teams working on solving the problem in different ways. It just happened to be that Bitcoin was really the first to get to market and have a viable solution. And even Bitcoin was working off some predecessor technologies like Hashcash and a few others. A similar thing is going on with the intersection of finance and social networking. People are realizing the value of community, and they're saying, why isn't money digital? And because of this, there are a number of teams trying to tackle this problem. We just happen to have the solution, and we were able to come up with it very quickly. There are a number of other projects out there building on Bitcoin or Ethereum, which are these other blockchain databases, but our realizations led us to a solution very quickly, and hopefully we can capitalize on that first mover advantage.
So your company, Stevens, when you and I sit here 5 years from now, what will be your story?
I hope we're talking about a network that has become infused in cultures, in countries around the world, a network that has created jobs. The nature of STEAM is one where there's value presented and there for the taking for everyone who's willing to come to the community and do work. Post valuable content and you will be rewarded. And I think as the network becomes more used, more robust, and more well known, we'll only see better and better content creators as well. So hopefully around the world, the network is recognized for its ability to reward people in a truly decentralized way. And hopefully it'll be very big and very well known, and we'll all be, drinking champagne, I guess.
So I've heard that you consider July being your month of success. You had a big bang. What happened?
Yeah, so July was interesting because this whole project was just an idea at the beginning of the year, and by leveraging the open source tools that we had at our disposal, we turned this into an alpha level product in March, with the plan that it would move into beta in July. And so what that meant was there was going to be all this posting and voting and social media activity before July. And then in July, the blockchain would actually distribute its first rewards to everyone. So it was kind of like this one very, very long day with lots of tokens kind of built up like there was a dam. And then on July 4th, Independence Day in America, the dam broke loose and all these people were rewarded, and there was lots of value going to lots of people, and people got very excited about it, and it really helped get the word out.
So I'll give you one final question. Many Norwegians, many Europeans, and people all over the world is wondering about. And this morning I read in a newspaper that one of the greatest thinkers in Silicon Valley, Peter Thiel, who started PayPal together with Elon Musk, he doubled his support to Donald Trump because they need more money. Will Trump be the next president?
I can build these blockchain systems, but Martin, I don't think I can predict the future.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Should we take two questions?
You are one.
Yes, one.
If it's a website stop work, it can be. What will be with money? How people can be sure?
If your website breaks down, what will happen to my money?
So there has to be complete redundancy in the way it's working. That's why it's important to have multiple websites out there in the open that use Steam. So what that means is, as long as you have your account name and the password to your account, you can take that information, go to any other website that's using Steam, and get access.
This is the advantage of blockchain. Yeah. One more question. One more. Over there.
I suppose that you must have some enemies around.
Who's your enemy?
Or others.
Who specifically? You gotta keep those types close. You keep your friends close, and
sure. But my question was: is it possible for a country to block this system?
They would need to block all of the domains that are tapping into this network. So it's like any blockchain system. Can they block Bitcoin? Can they block Ethereum applications? They have to know about the applications, and they have to be web applications. There are other types of applications that are downloadable clients. It's very, very difficult to block the network as a whole, but they could potentially block specific websites like Steam, but it's kind of like the music industry when we had Napster and then the next iteration of Napster and then the next iteration of that. You really can't quench this technology. The people want it too much.
Even if China wants to completely be out of this, they have nothing to do, for example.
So they have to find every application, every potential endpoint, every potential access point to the technology, but it will be very difficult. They will need to spend lots and lots of resources trying to do that. Yeah, it will be.
Okay, so thank you very much to Martin and Ned. It's very interesting to hear that. You will see more of them after the break. We're going to have a panel debate with 5 other esteemed panelists. So yeah, you'll get to ask more questions then. And until now, we're going to have 10-15 minutes networking break. You can have a coffee. So thank you very much.
Skal vi gjøre det for å få mest Jeg var så overrasket over hvor mange blir sammen. Vanligvis blir jeg bare dyttet rundt og sier nei, men du får ikke lov å filme her, du får ikke lov å filme her. Jeg blir helt på fjamsen og spør meg om hva jeg synes. Årene her så skulle vi ha mest mulig lys, så skulle vi ha en hel rekke med mikrofoner og en mikser som vi har ikke. Det har vi ikke. Det er kryptobevis. Men du snakker om livestreaming eller film, for det er 2 forskjellige ting. Jeg vil ha bra lysmulig på filmsendingen. Ja, vi har jo opptak. Hvis du har et ord, så setter den opptakeren på den ordet. Da gjør vi det.
Det er morsomt å se vår kameras programmer. Det ser ut som litt morsomt å se på.
Den laptopen må stå der, for den streamer. Og så var den kom opp, den laptopen min, og så var den kom hit. Hæ? Og så var den kom hit. Hva? Er det sin laptop? Den streamer. Ser du ikke at den må kobles til kameraet? Jo, hvem er det sin laptop? Det vet jeg ikke. Sikkert ikke din. Ikke rør noe på det. Er det akkurat liksom har vi det problemet? Det er nok mange som har kjøpt den til bildet. Ja. Men la den stå der, ikke gjort det. Du skulle ha ligge bak. Den laptopen må stå der, for ellers får vi ikke streamen. Den må stå akkurat her. Ja, men da må ha et sted å stå. Ja. Skal vi ha den så langt tilbake? Hæ? For å få med alle sammen på kamera? Ja, men her blir det jo snur kamera, så zoomer det. Setter du heller sånn at det trenger du ikke å tenke på. Da skal man ha det webkamera. Neste stolen, jeg tror. Videokamera på streamen er det her. Den følger en videokamera. Hæ? Er det kanalen? Men skal det være bra lys, så flytter du nærmere. Ikke tenk på det, altså. Her legger opptaket. Så blir det litt sånn Se på han her, da. Vi setter det nærmest mulig.
Yeah, maybe we can. I don't have my wallet at the moment. Yeah, but I can also write them at the partners and stuff with the access channel. This also prepared to really hard. Just write maybe. Yeah, if you come to the city, I mean, we'll see us later at Steamfest. We will see us at Steamfest. Yeah, and I think it's a start of a great, Germany, Norway.
Yes, still.
I'm really I didn't expect so many people. Really impressive.
Det vil begynne om barnebarnet. Ja, vi skal.
Then we will separate it and then we
You know that you're on big screen, right?
Okay, are we ready to start up again? Is somebody there behind? No? Okay. So, welcome back. We're starting up 15 minutes early in contrast to the plan. That's because we have 7 panelists instead of 5 as originally planned. So this will be a really great panel debate, long and interesting. So I will start by introducing every panelist, and so I've just planned that you're gonna sit like in order neatly, the way I planned it. I hope that's okay with everyone. Please welcome Ned Scott. Ned Scott, which is the CEO of Steemit. We heard him talk a lot today. Welcome. Please have a seat. Next we have
need to have the lights off. The camera sees so badly.
That's okay. Let's just leave it.
Okay, so it's going to be that.
Then we have Joar Langeland, partner at FCG Norway. Welcome. Please have a seat. Next, we have Stefan Nilsson, from chairman of the Norway Bitcoin Association, which just started up. Next, we have Morten Mørk, which is what do you call it in English? Advokatfullmektig?
Associate Attorney at Law, I guess.
Associate Attorney at Mørk, Advokatfirma Mørk. Welcome. We have Susanne Hannestad, CEO at Fintech Mundi. Welcome. And we have Martin Hauge. Yes. Martin is managing partner at Fluent Digital Capital. And finally, we have blockchain expert Lasse Meholm from the blockchain team. Welcome. Blockchain team. Member of the blockchain and IT strategy team at Korea. The silence. Okay, so to start off, I will ask each and every one of you. We'll do it in turn, starting with Ned here. Please say something about your background and tell us about your experience with blockchain and cryptocurrencies. 1 minute each.
I think this story might be getting a little old.
Yeah, you can talk about whatever you want for 1 minute.
For anyone who's new in the audience, I'm Ned Scott, CEO of Steemit, a blockchain-based social media network. And it incorporates all the best from social media and all the best in cryptocurrency to become a sort of censorship-resistant blend of personal finance and freedom of expression.
Okay, Joar Langeland, partner and CEO of FCG Financial Compliance Group, Nordic consultancy firm specializing in risk and regulatory compliance, and also focusing only on the financial industry as a domain. 30 plus years from the financial industry, working across Europe and globally. Yeah, have a very, very strong belief in the blockchain technology, maybe less belief in the cryptocurrency. But I think that there's a huge potential for technologically developments in the area and the space that blockchain intend to operate, but also have seen so many scandals from inside the financial industry as well as from the outside. But I think that easily can transfer to any new technological development and participants in that space. So I think some sort of regulation is definitely required and necessary. So I guess that's the space we would like to be in.
Great.
All right. My name is Stefan Nilsson. I'm the leader of the Norway Bitcoin Foundation that we just started. I'm also working professionally as an IT consultant and integrating ERP systems with the blockchain. I've been working with or been interested in Bitcoin since about 2012. So in this space, that's rather long. I have some other views than you have from the financial side about the regulations and so on. So I think we're going to have a very nice, nice discussion today. So I think I hold it.
Morten?
Yeah, I'm Morten Mørk, I'm an associate attorney at law at a family firm, Advokat Nordic. I've been a crypto enthusiast for 2 or 3 years, and I wrote my master's thesis about Bitcoin or digital cryptocurrencies and sales tax or value-added tax. And I joined the Bitcoin Foundation yesterday.
I'm sorry, I forgot to say everyone has to speak up. We have no microphones for the audience, and some people are really far behind. Please
Yes.
proceed.
So I joined the foundation yesterday, and they asked me to come and be the legal expert. So I brought my old thesis and smartphones, and I'm ready to answer some questions.
Okay. Yes, Susanne, please.
Yeah, Susanne Hanstad, CEO of FinTech Mundi. We are helping FinTech companies scaling, commercialization, going for the global markets. So we are close to potential customers, meaning bank and finance companies throughout the world. We are close to investors. We are close to, of course, our own partners, and Visa, MasterCard, and UnionPay of China. I believe in blockchain. I've seen quite a lot happening during, I would say, the last months. We see Bank of Ireland, we see Barclays that are moving, and hopefully we'll see some clear progress on that side. So that's my background. I've also been in Nordea for 10 years, building up the card industry there, issuing, acquiring debit credit cards, and of course the terminal side. So standards there are with MasterCard and Visa and so forth. Might be some thoughts around the regulation and the standards when it comes to blockchain as well.
Great. Please, Martin.
Thank you. I'm Martin Haugen. I used to be an entrepreneur, started multiple companies in the Nordic countries. I joined a small group of people that started a venture capital firm in 2004 and built Creandum. Creandum is today one of the leading venture capital investors in the Nordics, investing in multiple companies, also fintech companies. And through Creandum, we did also investment in cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, to be more precise, and other fintech companies. And today, yes, I'm still partly involved in venture capital, but I'm also an angel investor with strong interest in this space, both the blockchain technology or companies building on blockchain technology, and also in cryptocurrency. I'm a strong believer that we will see a digital currency or multiple digital currencies coming up in the coming years, and I'm sure that the timing now is right for those who want to join the wagon and enjoy these tremendous good investment cases.
Thank you. Lasse.
Yeah, thank you. I also started a few fintech companies, and I have sold them one by one. I work in Nordea, the bank, today in IT, group IT department. I have been in the Nordea blockchain teams since October last year, almost a year. And Nordea joined the I3 DLG group in October last year. I3 is a consortium of banks working with blockchain. It started in New York in 2014. A small fintech company managed to get Barclays, Goldman Sachs, and so on, quite a few large banks interested in blockchain, finding out, is blockchain a hype or is this something you should focus on? And the group grew, and last year when Nordea joined, it was 25 banks. Today there are 53 banks or something like that. We have a meeting with Goldman Sachs, Citibank, Barclays, Santander, Deutsche Bank twice a week. So we are quite focused on blockchain and finding out what we can use blockchain for. And we have also developed the COIDA blockchain protocol. So blockchain is quite important for us as a bank. We are attacked from all over, payment and insurance and all over. So blockchain is just one technology we are focused on. That's very important.
Thank you. So that concludes the introduction phase. I'm going to send one more question through the line, and that is, what do you see as the main benefits of cryptocurrencies and blockchain technology? Starting with Ned. 1 minute.
I see the main benefit globally in blockchain being that ultimately these technologies will be job creators. These tokenization systems have the ability to incentivize certain behaviors, and some of those behaviors are very much net value producers for society and for communities. Whether that be posting content or making predictions about future events. People can contribute to these systems with their information, and they can receive value in return. And I think in the long run, we'll see tens of thousands, hundreds, maybe even millions of jobs created through these technologies.
Yeah, no, blockchain technology, I'm strongly believing will be a dominant enabler, both globally and even in the more, or especially in the emerging markets, where currently a lot of those market and commodities is sometimes unbankable. I think this new technology will make new markets and new geographical areas bankable. And at the same time, I think in the more mature industry, part of the industry, it will enable enormous cost efficiency and meet the end user's demand. As we heard, instant payments is basically a prerequisite in many areas today. And yeah, the end user's demand will definitely drive the more mature part of the industry as well.
Okay. Stefan?
Yeah, I agree so far that the blockchain technology and the cryptocurrency is very important because it's a decentralized, global, permissionless system that enables people from all over the world, especially the people today that doesn't have any banking system. There's 5-6 billion people in the world who doesn't have a banking system today. They can, with the blockchain and with the cryptocurrency, get a bank in their phone today. And that enables, as Ned said, jobs, but I would like to call it not the traditional kind of jobs that we are thinking about now, like job in a factory, a job in a company. It's more like you're creating an economic income for yourself, so you can be more free to do what you like. For example, writing good articles on a website, or selling your services and get paid in Bitcoin directly or in any other cryptocurrency without any regulations, which enables people, even a poor farmer in Africa can sell his services and sell his vegetables and so on and get paid directly, totally outside the current economical financial system, but still he will be involved in a global financial system that is totally permissionless, and I find that the biggest part.
Yeah, I agree with Stefan. I see cryptocurrencies as a way to bring financial freedom to millions of people who do not have financial freedom in the current economic system. So that can, for example, be foreign workers sending money home to their continent and pay 10% in remittance fees, or it could be unemployed writers that can earn thousands of dollars on stealings, and it's a way to create a truly global economy where everybody can transact schemes create a high threshold to participate. So it's a way to create value for all people in the world.
Thank you for that input. Susanna?
Blockchain, I think, will increase the speed, so or reduce the speed, increase the speed, so it takes a shorter time from A to B, whatever one is using the blockchain to, and then the cost, which I think is a major factor to it. You have two variances which has been mentioned here. You have those who are not having any systems at all, meaning for the unbanked and so forth. So then they can use state-of-the-art technology as a start. For those who have been in the financial industry and the banks in particular, they have old legacy system that is very costly. The maintenance is taking part of a lot of the cost. So just to turn around the existing system cost them a lot, and then to come up with new products and turn around and meet all the challenges that the fintech companies are facing or giving the banks. And these fintech companies are eating all the value chain to the banks. So I think blockchain is a fantastic enabler to reduce the cost and make sure this is going much faster.
So when you are number 6 in the row, it's difficult to say something very smart. So, but I will emphasize what our lawyer says. He pointed on this cost efficiency and getting rid of the middleman. Getting rid of the middleman in with the blockchain technology is, I think, is the biggest benefit. Even though we see the traditional banks who are married to have a marriage with the regulators, not looking at blockchain as something a chain that they can block the market with, and you know, in a way, this technology opens up the possibility for transactions to happen without them slicing off this poor guy in Africa's money on its way home.
Okay, I'm the second one.
Yeah.
The two most important thing is speed of payment, and cost. And cost not only because it's free, the payment is free, but also cost for the bank. Santander did a calculation 2 years ago. They said that the banking worldwide will save some $20 billion a year in cost saving if you go to the blockchain in the bank. So cost and speed, that is right. And as you said, Nordea is in the mood of changing the core banking system, and we have put aside €1 billion for the project. €1 billion. That's a lot of money. And if you can do this half the price or even twice the speed, it will completely change the market. But even though we will do the core banking platform installation, and then we will look at the blockchain. Blockchain might completely change the game in the future.
Okay, so there's a large variety of answers here, very interesting from all of you. We all have a slightly different angle watching this. What stands out to me is that there's certainly some of you emphasize the blockchain aspect, while some of you are more into the openness and the globalness of the free permissionless cryptocurrencies. And I guess I think I'll take it back to the unbanked, was briefly mentioned here. So these 2 billion people, or 3 billion, or however many there are in the world, who do not have access to banking services, who don't have identity services, for them, what do you think is the most important invention here? Is it the blockchain that will make it faster and save money for banks? Or is it the free and permissionless access? So blockchain versus cryptocurrency for the unbanked. I'm gonna just shoot it right at you, Joar.
Permissionless, I am a bit sort of disturbed about that term because I think all societies need some sort of law and order. And then it's more a matter of, or more a degree on where do you put the boundaries and the borders for permissionless or law and order. And I think we all know that the poor farmer in Africa is probably more hurt by losing his payment for his monthly vegetable crop than you and me being fraud on a payment transaction on buying something on internet. So I think what I would argue is that the cryptocurrency and the blockchain disruptive community need rather to take part in the dialogue with the authorities in that, if you don't like to talk to the regulators, but you need some sort of law and order. I think that goes beyond doubt.
I would actually like to jump in there and actually agree to some extent. I think that there are varying degrees of these public blockchains, and some of them are considered permissionless, the most well-known being Bitcoin. But some blockchains, like J.R. said, rules exist to serve a society and a community. And blockchains can also be built to serve a community. Communities can be targeted and attacked. And a blockchain that responds to community needs and to the consensus of the community is potentially a more valuable blockchain. So I believe we still need to have several more iterations in blockchain so that we see this sort of reactivity from a community in times of need and when there are bad actors. The most successful societies out there are societies that are able to kick out bad actors, right? And if you can't do that, then bad actors can poison, communities. You think about trolling online and things like that. So in my opinion, as things develop, we will start to see communities that aren't necessarily permissionless, but digital communities that have constitutions and know how they want to respond to certain types of negative events.
It's a very, very insightful input there, and I guess that the question then is, the permissionless blockchain, is it unregulated or is it self-regulating? Stefan?
Yeah, it's totally regulated, but it's regulated by a program rule or mathematical rule. So everybody knows exactly the rules, how it's working. The issue with regulations is today every country have their own regulation. And the blockchain is global. So which country's rules should we work at? It's then better that we, in the blockchain itself, creates the rules that are open and to 100% followed. Everybody has to follow these rules because it's in the smart contract of this cryptocurrency. And as Ned said, you can have communities around this that are working with the blockchain, but they can also make their own rules how they want to implement it. But still, the back layer of blockchain in the back is still so like permissionless in this society, but it's all regulated in the blockchain itself.
Yeah. I want to give the word to you, Lasse. I think you have some valuable input here.
Yeah, well, we are, as a bank, we are regulated, and we are so afraid of doing anything that the regulator can react on. So we will definitely not be involved in anything that is not permissioned only. Permission, that's like Bitcoin is completely out of the question. And when it's private network or permission-only network, the regulator can go in and do compliance check by themselves. So for the regulator, they are really keen on going it that way.
Just a follow-up question. When you say that you will never go into anything which is not regulated only. Does it mean that as a platform where you could regulate parts of it, is that out of the question, where you could have Norwegian regulation in one part of the blockchain and you could have the American regulation in a different part of the blockchain?
Well, maybe. What's important, the basic thing, you need to know who is paying and who is receiving. And if you can do that one way or another, that will be compliant to the regulator. So we need to know the person behind the bias.
Would you like to make a comment from a legal standpoint here, Martin?
I think it's really important. I think regulation is important for the crypto world. I think maybe both sides have challenges. So the governments, they need to try to understand more what they're trying to regulate. Because right now we have a situation where the regulators are trying to use old laws and old ways of understanding on something that is totally new. So law and order is only a good thing if the laws are correct and if the laws are fair.
Yeah.
But also the crypto side, they need to maybe be a bit more interested in talking to the regulators. But I mean, it's a very diverse community. Some are anarchists, some are libertarians, some are, yeah, I don't know, all kinds of things. So yeah, I think it's a good thing that sides talk to each other.
I think it's a very interesting point of view, and I think Susanna had some comment here. And
I
Martin
think
as well.
here is exactly where we're talking, because you're bringing in the global aspect, which I absolutely agree on. And there's no way, you know, so you can't say that the Norwegian FSA is going to rule or any other is going to rule. So they're going to find a mechanism that is not invented yet with the regulation on it. The regulation sounds very depressive and holding back and so forth. But what EU has done with PSD2 and so forth, this is a God-given gift to entrepreneurs to come in with innovative things. And I believe that there are quite a few more and more that understand that innovation is the solution to a lot of the problems coming in. So what you are saying, that you need to bridge in the knowledgeable people like yourself and others that know the technology inside as well, with the technology, with the regulation people. And I see in UK they are again in the forefront to work on both those sides, and that's the area, and it has to be global, otherwise it's not going to work.
Interesting that you bring up the UK. We'll get back to that and the sandbox system that they have. Martin, before I
was about to say something similar to what Susanne is saying, because please remember, it's very early days for cryptocurrencies. I mean, it's just a few years that this has been in the market. And this for sure is going to change over the coming years. It's been a rapid development, and we are going to see changes that meet this need for security, for knowledge about the transaction itself. And I feel quite confident that a lot of these problems that has been highlighted so far will find their solutions in the technology on a global scale. Because I think it will be impossible to have the Norwegian government and the Chinese government and the American government and the UK government agreeing on a set of rules that should govern the cryptocurrencies. It won't happen. But I feel confident that 10 years from now, we will all have wallets with digital currency. I'm 100% sure. And it will be regulated, but on a global level.
You had a comment?
No, I mean, I guess I'm playing not the devil's advocate, but I guess you're all familiar with the global community of authorities and regulators are trying to gather. It's called the Basel Committee. And then that's distributed then to the federal authorities in the US, SEC and others, and then through EU and down through the domestic authorities. So yes, they are trying, and I guess there's also funding issues because if you do ask the FSA in Norway, they will point at the finance ministry who grant their budgets every year. So I guess there's a multiple audience for let's say the cryptocurrency and the blockchain industry to address. And I'm sure that is a kind of a chicken and egg problem, because I guess you are strained on cost efficiency and how you spend your money, and to travel around to these authorities is a long haul. You would need to invest a lot of time and effort to convince them about the technology that you're promoting. So I think there's cooperation. That's the only way forward.
I totally agree, and I think that that is certainly going to happen, that all the world's countries are going to get together and solve and find out how they're going to regulate it. So, but the issue I see is that technology moves much faster than politicians. Lasse.
Are you pointing at me?
Yeah.
You're right. The technology escalates a lot faster than as we as a bank and the regulator can follow. I just would like to mention that Jan Fjellheim in Federal, she invited all central banks in the world to Washington. Was it 7 of June this year summer? And they was together for 2 days and discussed blockchain and fintech. That's the only thing on the agenda. So, and I used you, your brother, I had a speak at the Stockholm at the Oslo Stock Exchange on Thursday, and I did a live presentation there. And in the area, or people listening to what we said, was people from the Stock Exchange, Norwegian Bank, Central Bank of Norway, the regulator was there. So they are really, really focusing on what we do, even in Norway.
So I guess we are still struggling in Norway to get a grip on Bitcoin. And there's since Bitcoin arrived, we have seen hundreds of new cryptocurrencies and new platforms and new challenges. So how are they going to keep up? And isn't it maybe better to do like the UK has done, and just have a hands-off approach, make a sandbox where the technology can play out and see what happens before you try to restrict it? And is it going to hurt if a given country, for example Norway, decides to have a very restrictive policy on cryptocurrencies? Is it going to hurt the cryptocurrency economy, the cryptocurrencies, Bitcoin, or is it going to hurt the country because all the innovation goes into other countries? Who wants to comment on that?
I can try to start. I'm in a forum with IKT Norge and Finans Norge coming together to discuss the fintech area. And we discussed this sandbox that the UK FCA is the new name they have. Because they put up a new sandbox where fintech company can come and try out and get advice from the FCA. And IKT Norge took it to the Norwegian government and discussed this. So there are people on this thing, but you are right. We are a little bit slower in Norway than the UK and US.
Yeah, okay. I'll hold my tongue for now. We'll get back to that. I'm going to ask a new question, just to get into the challenges a little bit more here. How do you see nation states dealing with the disruption of traditional money and finance? Anybody want to talk about that? Maybe Susanna?
It's a lot happening. Of course, UK has been a hub since 2010 when Cameron, he said, what are we going to do? The economy is down and we need to do something. So he approached entrepreneurs to come on, and we see what has happened. And London is I think, the hub, fintech hub in the world. Singapore is doing quite a lot also with sandboxes, and I believe the sandboxes that are in Singapore is even better than in London if you're going to put a competition on the sandboxes. But there's so much going on in each country, I think, on this area. And the banks, 1 year ago, I think even Nordea also got there were quite a lot of people kicking the legs of Nordea, and Nordea, they have done quite a lot. Danske Bank has done quite a lot, and DNB as well. So it's the initiatives that is coming, I would say, from the entrepreneurs, which is challenging the incumbent industry, and then the politicians and the regulation is kind of coming after that. But I believe that both politicians, even here in Norway, and also on the regulation side, they are positive what's happening. So once Norway is getting a hold of it, then they can move much faster, because we are so advanced in technology in general, and we have a society where technology is used in so we are first with more or less everything. So I think also in this aspect, I think Norway, together with the Nordic countries, can be a leader. We need to work together with the other Nordic countries because we are so small as a country. But I talked with Finans Norge, Finanstilsynet, and so forth, and they are eager and they also work together. So what they're saying, when the Nordic countries stick together, they easily get Benelux and then particularly Holland, and the UK will also follow along in that aspect. So Europe as a whole is in a lead, I think, in general when it comes to fintech. So that is something that we can utilize from here and global.
I'm very happy to hear that Finans Norway and Finanstilsynet are interested in joining the debate. And I really hope that we'll be able, when we host the next CryptoFinance event in a few months, that we will get someone from official government side to comment on this topic. Ned, you had something you wanted to...
Well, I agree that nation states have been more and more positive over the last few years, increasingly so actually, about these new digital money technologies. And some in the cryptocurrency space might not want to agree with me, but some of the reasons that there are sandboxes in a number of countries is because they're recognizing how traceable and how trackable every action is that is on the blockchain. And when you start to think about this blockchain as this transparent ledger of everything with a set of governance and rules, you start to realize that these technologies can actually help the regulators. And I know in the US, institutions like the FBI and the CFTC have all kind of taken a step back and said, let this stuff grow because we can end up using this. And I think that of course, just like it can be valuable in other countries, it can be valuable here in Norway too.
I just add to that. I think, and that's an explicit goal, and within the mandate of the Sandbox FCA is for their own use of new technologies. I think Lars and I just discussed the AML, the anti-money laundering, and the KYC opportunities. And I guess the common denominator for that is RegTech, where you could use this technology really advanced. So I think that's just another opportunity for you entering into a discussion and a common dialogue with the authorities, and as you did. Seeing is believing, so if you do sort of a mock-up and show them a sample case on how it could be used, it's again, pictures says more than 1,000 words.
Yeah, thank you. And I just have to say that this working together with regulators, I mean, we in BitSpace come from the cryptocurrency space. We grew up there. We started using Bitcoin. We explored the sector, all the different platforms, And we ended up here. We are actively trying to get in touch, in dialogue with banks and regulators, because we believe that a good way to go forward here, Bitcoin is growing and traditional finance is there, and there needs to be some kind of communication between these two camps, so to speak, and that's our mission with BitSpace and with our project BitGate, which I'm going to talk a little bit about later.
Just a comment to it.
Yes,
I
please.
think it would be wonderful to have Finanstilsynet, also FSA Norway, be part of it, and they love to be invited. Of course, they have their strict mask and so forth. But that's a good way for them to showcase, because they want to. They just need the money from the government to do these things.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have been on the inside, I think they can, but they need the money to start. And that is it in the media? Is it been talked about? Then you can get them to.
Yeah, maybe even have a representative from the finance ministry together with FSA. Then we have to really.
Have a full
yeah, let's work towards that for the next event. Lasse, you have something on you?
It's just that I think you have noticed that the regulator and the when it comes to bank, we have this PSD2 coming in a few years. It's a new regulation from the European Union, and the only reason is that the European Union wants more competition in the banking market. So we have to open our computer system to third-party providers. And then after that, we have this MiFID 2 coming our way, and it's the same thing. The regulator wants more competition in the market. So we need to be aware that they want competition, and that goes for us as well.
Okay, so yes, we touched upon the regulatory challenges globally. I want to bring it a little bit back to Norway, because we are in a very special situation here. Although I heard some of you mention that Norway is far ahead and proactive, and the whole Europe is proactive when it comes to cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. That's not exactly true about Norway. We are actually lagging behind quite a lot in the cryptocurrency space. We have a very strange rule here in Norway that stems from 2013. I just tried to ask Finanstilsynet in a mail if a company in Norway can buy and sell Bitcoins. It took 4 months for me to get an answer. I got an answer now in September, and the answer was very vague, with a link to a statement from the tax authorities from 2013 that say that in Norway there is VAT on Bitcoins, which means that if you want to exchange Bitcoins from Norwegian kroner to Bitcoin, you have to pay 25% tax, which means that it's basically impossible to run a business based on cryptocurrencies in Norway. That's the background. Anybody have some comment on this situation? What can be done?
Very good question.
Yeah, of course, Norway could just follow the EU example, that not to have VAT on. It's not VAT on Bitcoin, but the problem is that the government have no template where they should put Bitcoin, so they just thought it's an electronic service, and an electronic service has VAT. But Bitcoin is not an electronic service. Bitcoin is many different things. It's a currency, it's assets, it's a blockchain and everything. So the problem is for the regulators to find a law today that fits this strange thing called Bitcoin or cryptocurrency. So the most important thing is to stay off or make these sandboxes, and maybe wait and see and try to implement the laws according to how you're using the technology, not just one big rule for all of it.
Morten, you wanted also to comment on this?
Yeah. This is what I wrote my thesis about, so finally somebody cares. So this is kind of the legal basis for the Norwegian tax department's practice in treating Bitcoin as an electronic service. And it's one page. It's a conclusion without any arguments to substantiate the conclusion. And in Norway, it's strange because we already have the legal framework to treat Bitcoin. And it's merverdiavgiftsloven, the value-added tax law. And if you read and go through all the legal sources that we have in Norway at this moment, then you would come to the natural conclusion that Bitcoin is exempt from sales tax and value-added tax. Either you can classify it as a legal way of making payments, you've been telling people, or you can classify it as a financial service or similar. So the regulators, when they made this law, they had in mind that there might be new financial products that would behave similar to the old products, and they foresaw that these products also should be treated legally in the same way. So yeah, it's strange that Norway still has this this sales tax on Bitcoin, especially since we now have a verdict from the European Court of Justice. It's 1 year old today, or in a week or something. And when I read it, I thought, okay, finally, the tax department in Norway is going to follow along, but they still haven't. And they're not really legally obliged to do so. But all of there's every reason for them to do exactly as the European Union does, and this is written in all the pre-works for these laws. So yeah, I think that when the tax department actually sits down and does some real legal work, they will come to the conclusion that we've come to.
Okay, anybody else want to comment on that?
His thesis needs to be public and put it on in the media.
Yes.
and spread it.
Okay, is it available in PDF?
Yeah.
Can we put it up on our website later?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We will do so on
And it's a bit outdated, so I need to make a new
Okay, so
2016 version.
that's the VAT. Another story happened this autumn. Stefan, you want to elaborate? Tell us about it.
Yeah, we run into a wall. We started the Bitcoin Association, and of course we needed a bank account so that our members could pay their member fee. So we opened an account with the biggest bank in Norway, and everything was fine in 3 weeks. And then suddenly I got a phone call from the bank saying that the Norway Bitcoin Association, are you doing something with Bitcoins? Yes, we are. We are trying to inform people about Bitcoins and cryptocurrency and so on. And then he asked me directly, are you selling and buying Bitcoins? I said, no, we are not. And then he went, while I was in the phone with him, he went into our website and checked that, okay, a member can pay with credit card or with Bitcoins. It's a service we buy both for the credit card and for the Bitcoins, called Stripe. It's one of the biggest credit cards suppliers in the world. So I told him, no, we are not selling. We are just letting our members pay with Bitcoins. And that resulted in that they froze our account with all our money. We had very much money, like 832 kronos. and we got a paper from them, a whole page with questions. Please answer this, Britain. What kind of regulations do you have to control the identity of your members? what kind of rules and controls do you have to certify that the money flows that comes into the organization does not come from illegal and terrorist financing stuff. So, okay, we got the whole list. So, of course, I sat down and I tried to answer this, how we are handling these kind of questions. And in the end, I found out that the bank that we had a bank account in couldn't actually be a member of our, or couldn't be a service to our association because they themselves was guilty of money laundering. So I had to tell them back that, sorry, now we have implemented the rules that you requested from us, but you cannot be our bank anymore because you are yourself laundering money. And we closed the account, and now we have account with another bank that does allow Bitcoin
How
to
many
be.
days?
Sorry?
How many days you have? No, new account.
I got it in like,
I joke about 3 days.
yeah. We got account very quickly with other bank, no problem. So we have a bank account and we accept Bitcoins. So I can just imagine now we are just an association. We are not non-profit organization. But now if you are a startup, if you are a company and you try to do a product in this space, you are totally blocked.
Yeah.
From week 3, when you open your account and then they see something with Bitcoin and say, oh.
Yeah, and I just have another story that I want to tell because now you got into that entrepreneurial aspect of it. There was in 2013, 2014, there was a really great Bitcoin company based in Norway. It was called JustCoin. They were one of the leading cryptocurrency exchanges in the world. They were very professional, very fast, very good service. They always paid out the money in time. They were trusted by their users. What happened was they got a letter from their bank. They have to close down. That actually happened in Norway. What happened was that all the users got their money back. They moved out of the country, and they are now making businesses. They are being entrepreneurs in somewhere else, not here in Norway. So that, to me, that tells me that that's a real warning sign. It should be a big warning sign for Norway. Do we want to push our entrepreneurs out of the country? One example that is often used when talking about being too conservative to new technology is the Red Flag Act in the United Kingdom. The car, the automobile, was a really great piece of technology when it first came out in the beginning of the century. In the UK, the carriage manufacturer for horses were really against this new technology. It was very disturbing. A lot of people could lose their jobs. It was dangerous. So what they did was that they made a law requiring that every automobile had to be equipped with an engineer in case of engine failure, and there had to be a man walking in front of the car with a red flag. This is true. With a red flag waving, like warning people that the car is coming. So what happened? UK fell behind. The automobile industry flourished in the US. Is that what we want to happen to Norway? Do we want fintech to happen everywhere else but here? Is that what we want? When we push out our innovators like that, smart, young, bright people, I think that's a really dangerous development. Martin.
I just wanted to make a small comment to what you said, because I did the criminal act of taking an Uber out to this event today, and that's also a symbol of the regulators' resistance to new things coming up. And I think the only way is the way that people are saying, hey, it's by educating the regulators, bringing them on board, and trying to explain and do it in a way so that we can make these necessary steps forward. But I will also mention one very good example of a regulator who has taken the point, and that is the Estonian government. I myself, I'm an Estonian. If I establish a Bitcoin company, I would do it in Estonia. I can do it in minutes. I can establish the necessary agreements and contracts. I can pay my tax. I can give the regulators everything they need. So maybe a training course for someone at the regulator in Norway, in Estonia, would be a good idea.
It's really cool that you mentioned it, and I would like to just flip the camera around here. I would just like to say that my wife is probably really happy now that we're having this talk about Estonia, because she's from Estonia, and she's been telling me, why don't you just start up the company in Estonia? Why do you have to do it in Norway? But this is not just about making BitSpace. It's not just about what we do. We actually want to make this happen in Norway. We want to make Norway great again. Is that? Okay, so we have 5 minutes left. We're going to spend that on a last question to all the panelists. 5 years from now, and this time we'll begin. Sorry?
You should ask questions about Bitcoin.
Bitcoin. Oh yeah. That's also. Yeah, good. So the question is, first of all, do you have a Bitcoin wallet? Just answer that first, and then 5 years from now, what role do you think blockchain and cryptocurrencies will have in our society? This time we'll start with Lasse and we'll go to
I have a Bitcoin wallet. I got it this summer. And I have a few Bitcoins there. And I think the 5 years from now, there will be at least 10, 15 countries which has a cryptocurrency. I think the UK might be the first one. There was one country in Africa had launched a cryptocurrency. Was it Kenya? I think. Oh, sorry, Kenya. Kenya. No, Kenya has this M-Pesa. That's another thing. No, I think it's that was one of the African countries. They have a cryptocurrency. And but I'm quite sure UK will be one of the first. And then the first country has a cryptocurrency, the other one will come within a few years. The question is how it will evolve. How can the central bank, because it will be central bank issued cryptocurrency, I'm quite sure that's the only way forward. Maybe, yeah, basically, I think the future is cryptocurrency.
Yeah. I think I stated my opinion earlier. I do believe in the digital currencies, and I do believe that it will not be controlled by one regulator one by one. I think it will be, my belief is that there will be a global control mechanism that will satisfy most regulators, but there will always be regulators who are asking for more. But I think there will be a system around this. I also believe that maybe the UK, maybe there will be others. Will it be Bitcoin or will it be something else? I don't know. Bitcoin is in the lead today, but time will show.
I would love to sign up for a Bitcoin or a cryptocurrency, so somebody help me
Let's
with
talk
that.
afterwards.
Exactly.
And I have a Bitcoin wallet, and I haven't paid VAT.
Yes.
I believe it's going to evolve, and UK might be one of the first, maybe Estonia, as a maybe quicker country to adapt and take a lead on that one. Once we have at least one country or a few, then it will start moving. It's like sabelflokk-mentaliteten will kick in. So that 5 years, a little bit uncertain how much until that. Maybe some pilots and so forth, because we need to educate the market, like Martin was saying here, and we need to have the kind of the global regulators with us. So maybe a little bit more time, but it will come.
I have a Bitcoin wallet, I have an Ethereum wallet, and a Steam wallet. In 5 years, I think both private blockchains for central banks, or maybe even countries will have evolved, and distributed blockchains or public blockchains like Bitcoin or Ethereum, and of course Steam will have grown a lot with much more users. You can just see Ned talking about Steam. It's just started and there's 100,000 users, and that's people who before had no knowledge about cryptocurrencies whatsoever, and now they're actually seeing the potential for this technology to change their lives. So there's going to be a snowball effect, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I have a Bitcoin wallet. I have also Ethereum, Steam it, and all of them, tested all of them. I have a wallet in my phone, in my PC. I have a hardware wallet. I have most of my savings, instead of in the bank, I have it in like stuff and hardware wallet like this. In 5 years, I believe that a lot of banks will have a lot of trouble, just like the postal offices in other countries have a lot of problem because of internet, like 10, 15 years ago. The banks that are most innovative will survive, and just like Estonia, the reason for Estonia, I believe, was that they came loose from Russia, and they had to start all over with everything. So that's why they quickly could do something modern. The problem we have is that we have all these old regulations that is very, very hard to change. But we have to change. It's imperative. If we don't change, we will die. And it's in 5 years, I think I believe that we have at least the Bitcoin blockchain, but above that we will have a lot of different layers that the banks can use and that the companies can use, and where we can regulate locally in different countries. But below or in the back end, it will be the global blockchain.
Okay. It's funny you should bring up this hardware wallet, because one of the teams this weekend actually their project was to hack that Trezor and make it work for Steam. So and they actually made a proof of concept. I don't know if they're here they had to leave because they have an early plane tomorrow, but that's just a comment on that.
Yeah, and also it's not only storing my Bitcoins, it's also can prove my identity in a very, very, very secure way, globally. If I put this into my computer, I can prove I am the one, because I have to type in a passcode and a hardware wallet, and then I'm 100% identified.
Do you have it under your pillow?
I don't tell you where I have it. In a safe place.
Yeah, thank you. And you are, please.
Yeah, well, in 5 years' time, I think definitely that blockchain will have a predominant position and role. I think that the payment mechanism will always continue to be a very critical part of society. I therefore think it still needs to be some kind of control mechanism or regulated. And I think the Nordic countries has still a very advanced position in terms of technological developments. The private-public cooperation, we have relatively advanced technology for, let's say, official registers, whether that is concerning your personal identity or concerning your property and commodities. So I think it still has a very good position if we can get the industry, the public, the private sector to work better together. And I don't have a Bitcoin in the wallet.
We'll do something about that today.
Yes.
But you wanted to...
Some other cool fintech products.
Nice. We'll exchange items later. Ned, please, you'll get the last word here from the panel. Do you have a Steam wallet?
I have a Steam wallet.
Only Steam, no other currencies.
I have a Bitcoin wallet too, and an Ethereum wallet, and I think 5 years in the blockchain and cryptocurrency space is practically an eternity.
Yeah.
We have seen so much innovation in just the last 2 years, and things are only beginning to move faster. And I do believe that protocols like Bitcoin will continue to become more and more popular and serve their purpose as a great store and transfer of value. But I also believe that in these next 5 years, we will discover new applications for these technologies that some of us have not even begun to think about yet. And these will be the technologies that actually become pervasive and most influencing across the world. And there'll be things that people may not even realize. They may not even realize that they're powered by cryptocurrency technologies. And that's when we'll know that we've discovered the true potential of these things. Is that people are using the technology and it's improving their lives, and they don't need to think about all the regulations and the technical challenges and all this. So in 5 months, I see Bitcoin going to the moon. In 5 years, I see a completely new landscape.
Thank you. On that note, we conclude the panel debate. I want to give a big thanks to everyone here in the panel who took their time to come here and talk to us. It's been a very interesting and productive debate. The last agenda, the last thing on the agenda is presenting projects from the hackathon. I don't know if all the participants are here now. There will be two presentations of projects. After they finish, we will walk in a big group across the street. Whoever wants to come with us to a hotel across the street. What was the name of the hotel?
Quality Expo.
Quality Expo, where we'll, yes, so whoever wants to join us there for a drink can do that after we finish. But for now, thank you very much to the panelists, and I hope to see you back here next CryptoFinance event.
That was good. I enjoyed it.
I noticed a few of this.
I'm very neutral. You know, I think there's a lot of people in this space who are really motivated. I want to see people in the end, to see concerns of both sides coming together and finding a medium for innovation and entrepreneurship.
Hackers from the hackathon. Okay, then we're starting. Please have a seat. Don't worry about it. Yeah, please. Welcome, everyone from Steemit. He's going to present Steam Q, which is a really revolutionary new service for Steam. Please.
Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank Space for organizing this event, as well as the hackathon. I've been able to meet with many really smart people, and together we have refined a really interesting idea that I would like to present to you today. So Steemit has built a really powerful social networking platform on top of their blockchain technology. And I've been observing this issue in the video community space, where there's only one company out there that really dominates video, and that's YouTube. And because they are the monopolist on the market, and because there are many, many creators out there making content, they have sort of started treating a lot of people unjustly, if you could say it that way. So essentially, creators that have less than 25,000 subscribers no longer get quality advertisements. They get suspended, often for unjust reasons, and they also have their content stolen from false copyright claims. So we thought we would build a new video platform on top of Steam blockchain technology for this huge market and help creators find a new venue to post their content. Additionally, we would like to create a new platform for their audiences. People need to, it's very important for us to build a platform where people can discover the content that they actually want to consume. And for that, we're building a sub-community model where you have multiple communities that come together around their common shared interests. And if we succeed on both fronts with satisfying the content creators and the content consumers and bring them together in a new and more powerful communication system, then we may be successful enough to get the traction to bootstrap a new video platform. Additionally, we inherit one of the really nice properties of the Steam blockchain, which is rewards based on voting. So instead of content creators having to rely on advertisements, they get support directly from their audiences. So when people vote for their content, they get the rewards. Now, if we're successful in improving this model, we could even take it a step further and take care of the distributed and the centralized content system using the peer-to-peer technologies. And we could use the blockchain to immutably and permanently secure the ownership and licensing of the content. Thank you very much.
Okay. Next, please, go to Karma. Yeah, okay, so I have to just go and get oh, what happened here? Okay. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go in into my email now, so I'm going to take this out to bring his presentation up. Some privacy is still good. This one? No. I'll send it to this. Link, he said. Emily. Yeah, sure. When did I send it? Maybe you put the wrong maybe it's in spam. Okay. Har det for
Alt er lov i krypto. Så lenge det er hemmelig.
Okay, so while Good Karma gets me a new copy of his presentation, which didn't arrive by mail, I'm going to give a little short introduction to our product BitGate. This is our main focus for the time in BitSpace. So I'll just go really quickly through it, 3 minutes, just to show you what we are up to. Little introduction on Bitcoin. We really don't need that now. Just a lot of large players are on board. We did get into this a little bit. The closed versus closed permissioned versus decentralized systems. Today we have a problem, especially here in Norway. There is no good frictionless way between these two economies. That's what BitGate is going to do. We talked a lot about open systems. We talked a lot about permission systems. But this is a hybrid system. It's a hybrid solution which will allow part regulations. It will allow Norway to have Norwegian regulation. It will allow US to have US regulation. And it will also allow unregulated parts in the same platform. So they can speak the same language. This is just a screenshot of our first product sketch, which will be a simple Norwegian kroner to Bitcoin exchange. It will be fully identified. Every customer will be identified using bank ID or similar identification method. And we are working, as I briefly mentioned before, closely with banks, lawyers, regulators to make this happen in a neat and tidy way. That's why we want to bring cryptocurrencies into the light. And here's another sketch of how we can see BitGate being plugged into a net bank. CryptoFinance is our partner. We are in talks with them of how we can launch this first product. And we believe that now is the right time. There is a lot of emphasis on fintech. Open banking is coming in a couple of years. Of course, we have seen today Ned Scott of Steemit talking about the bleeding edge blockchain technology. These guys are our partners. We have a long experience within that community, and we are really strongly positioned to make this happen. Maybe I should cut it there, Gustav?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So, are you ready? Yeah.
So just one short comment on that one.
Yeah.
we have been discussing now for a long time all the problems with regulation and openness and so, but it seems that you have the solution to all of that in one product.
What a coincidence.
Wonderful. Nice.
Well, yeah, that's our whole mission, and that's what we're doing here. That's why we are hosting this conference together with also FinTech. That's why we started down this path. We could have gone the path of other blockchain companies creating services in the permissionless sphere. That we chose a different path. We chose to approach regulators, approach governments, because we think this is a crucial piece of the puzzle to make this technology flourish, and to make Norway flourish.
Great event.
It's forever on the blockchain. I guess not. Okay. Great. You want to use this?
Hello everyone. Well, my project is in hackathon was the Steam mobile application, which is powered by Steam blockchain. As all of you know now, we have everyone in this room obviously has a smartphone, and if you want to be social, you want to use your mobile app everywhere, you want to access your social network. So that's one of the goals is Steam. So Steam blockchain itself already has already is a social network blockchain powering the users, and all we want to do is give users easy access with their mobile phone and reach out to their followers. Like my background is a little bit how I came to Bitcoin and how I find out about Steam blockchain. And earlier, 2012, find out about Bitcoin, and then got interested into cryptocurrency and blockchain technologies. Later on, find out another next cryptocurrency, and then later on, I found the Steam blockchain, which really got me excited and built applications on top of it. And eSteam is just a name which basically says what email says. Email just changed what mail system was, just adding the electron, making it electron mail. So what we're trying to do is just be Steam, which is electron and Steam, just the name of the project. And what feature it has is basically all the features what the Steam blockchain provides, but it gives extra possibility for users to access from their mobile applications like notification, the gallery mode. They can see their personalized profile and change the pictures and get connected with their followers. And yeah, these are some of the features which is available already. And this is how the application looks like on your mobile application. It's just the feeds of the post you can see, and you have your personal profile where you can set your cover picture and profile pictures. And you can see your followers. And what I'm currently doing is just improving the application and increasing the user base and gathering more user feedback and improving it over time so that it can help users, so it can grow. And future plans to improve some of the functionalities, like they can manage their their wallet, they can private message with each other, with the followers, and use their images as a gallery and share with other users. Everything is on the blockchain, everything is stored on the blockchain, and it is accessible to other users. And these are some statistics. App is still available, but it is still on the beta stage. And these are some statistics how average user is using it daily, how engaging with the app. We have in early days we can see that app is really needed and people get engaged in it. So 10 minutes average day, on a daily basis, they spend their time on application, even though it's in early stages. This is iOS for iPhones. Similar, you can see the average around 10 minutes, 11 minutes users spending their time on reading and posting and voting, engaging with users. And these are the increase in the user base. This screenshots were taken a few weeks back, but one on the top is Android users, one on the below is for iOS users, so it's daily increasing. And that was
thank you.
Great.
Anybody have questions? Thank you very much, Karma. I hope you'll be here for the next CryptoFinance event as well.
Yeah, sure.
So that concludes CryptoFinance Live 2016. I hope to see you again next time. We'll all gather now downstairs. Whoever wants to join us for a drink at the hotel across the street. So I'll see you there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Så det startet med
Det er rom B og C.
Ja. Så inn det saken. Ja, så tar vi begge veier. Ja, man betaler jo til varer som blir
Jeg er på mitt konferanse.
Skal du ha konferanse?
Ja. Ja, 300 kvinnelige grønner. Det er mitt frivillige innsatsarbeid, i tillegg til oppsnakken til helgen.
Jeg trodde du var lat.
Ja.
Men det siste er ikke her, da.
Ja, men jeg vet jo det, men sånn er det.
Se på jobb. Nei, men dette er jo mye større da. 150 stykker.
Ja, veldig bra da.
Ikke bra da. Det er deilig at det gikk bra.